cloaks, were bound to die. Yeah. Toby, the leader's main body doesn't seem to be wearing clothes, and Naruto seems to already know where the leader's main body is. Could it be? Conan looked at Uzumaki Nagato with concern. Uzumaki Nagato didn't say a word. He didn't care about the outcome of the battle between his future self and Naruto. After all, that was only the future, and now, because of the scroll, the future had already changed. What he had been caring about all this time was the conversation between Minato Namikaze and Naruto. He thought about it carefully. It really seemed like he was being used by Toby. Let's watch for a bit. Didn't the Naruto in the future footage say he had something to say to him? Then he would see how his future self chose, and then look for the answer as to whether he was being used. If he really was being used, then he would never forgive them. Konoha, meanwhile, was in an uproar of excitement. Great! Not only is Naruto the son of a hero, but he also saved our village. He is a great hero of our Konoha. That hateful old man Danzo. Before, in order to become Hokage, he actually stopped Naruto from coming back to save us. The answer is clear now. If Danzo hadn't stopped him and Naruto had returned to Konoha sooner, the Konoha in the future footage wouldn't have been destroyed, and we wouldn't have been killed. Naruto is a great hero, Danzo is a great villain. Naruto is a great hero, Danzo is a great villain. Such slogans spread throughout all of Konoha. Danzo, receiving this news from root members, was gnashing his teeth in anger, yet he was helpless. Who told him to get caught with his evil deeds being exposed? And who told Naruto to actually save Konoha? Damn it! Could it be that even though I finally obtained the Rinnegan, I still won't be able to become Hokage? Should I just kill everyone who opposes me? This idea was quickly rejected by Danzo. Because he himself knew that if he really did that, there might not be anyone left in the entire Konoha. The footage continued. Naruto found Uzumaki Nagato's main body. Under their mutual talk no jutsu attacks, Naruto, the strongest king of talk no jutsu, ultimately came out on top. Uzumaki Nagato, then I'll choose to believe in you. Uzumaki Nagato pulled his hands out of the machine, Geto statue Rinne rebirth jutsu. Naruto was completely bewildered. What kind of ninjutsu is this? Conan, one who possesses the Rinnegan, not only has the techniques to fully control the six pains, but legend has it they can also transcend the world of the cycle of life and death. Nagato's ocular technique is a technique that controls life and death, the seventh pain. At this point, Conan was incredibly worried, thinking to herself, using this technique with his current chakra, Nagato will, to go as far as this just to help this child. Nagato was changed by this incredible child. Next, the scene shifted to the Konoha that had already been razed to the ground. A massive king of hell was summoned. The king of hell opened its huge mouth and spat out the souls of everyone who had died in Konoha. To the shock of the people in Konoha, the deceased were resurrected. The footage ended. The Pure Land. Uchiha Madara's eyes widened. The method he had always talked about for his resurrection, was it just gone like that? Uzumaki Nagato was his backup plan for resurrecting himself. Back then, he gave his Rinnegan to Uzumaki Nagato precisely because he intended to wait for Uzumaki Nagato to grow up. And then use the Geto statue Rinne rebirth jutsu to resurrect him. And yet, Uzumaki Nagato actually used it up just like that to resurrect the people of Konoha? Looking at Uzumaki Nagato's state in the footage, it was obvious he would drop dead after using the Geto statue Rinne rebirth jutsu. Damn it! Senju Hashirama, Madara. I didn't expect there to be such a powerful ninjutsu that could resurrect so many people at once. Uchiha Madara, Hashirama. I didn't expect it either. Uchiha Madara was suffering inside, but he couldn't say it. He comforted himself in his heart, saying that it was only future footage. He also knew clearly that Uzumaki Nagato might not cooperate anymore. Because the fact that Obito was using Uzumaki Nagato had been exposed by Minato Namikaze. Unless Uzumaki Nagato was too stupid, or Obito was a super-tier deceiver. A change of events was inevitable. Fortunately, Now that the scroll had appeared, there was a new possibility for his desire to be resurrected. The other people in the Pure Land were all discussing fervently. If they could find someone else with the Rinnegan and have them perform that ninjutsu from the footage, then wouldn't they also be able to be resurrected? Land of Rain, Akatsuki Organization Base. Damn it! Uchiha Obito had a look of speechlessness. The future Uzumaki Nagato was actually influenced by a few words from Uzumaki Naruto. Sacrificing his own life to use the Geto statue Rinne rebirth jutsu to resurrect the people of Konoha. Then his plan would need to be reconsidered from the ground up. Fortunately, that was the future, there was still a chance to save things now. Chapter 71 Konoha. Ordinary ninjas and villagers were all hugging each other and cheering. Their future selves were truly and genuinely saved by Naruto. There was no doubt about it. The Nine-Tails Jinchuriki Naruto, whom they had always marginalized and discriminated against before, was not only the son of a Konoha hero but also the great hero of Konoha's future. Inside the stomach of the Shinigami from the Reaper Death Seal, Uzumaki Kushina and Minato Namikaze both had gratified looks on their faces. As expected of their son. His performance was simply too outstanding. And at this time, the scroll above Konoha once again erupted with golden light. A new scene began. Everyone looked up at the translucent screen. Amigakure. After gathering a great deal of intelligence within Devapath Pain's Rain Tiger at will technique, Jiraiya arrives at a mysterious space. Summoning technique. A scroll toad is summoned by Jiraiya. The ninja world. This toad must also be from the Toad Clan. Does the Toad Clan have all kinds of toads? It's said that all toads of the Toad Clan can use senjutsu, and each has their own unique abilities. That's incredible. Whether it's Naruto or Jiraiya, their summoned beasts are all from the Toad Clan. No wonder they ranked 11th on the summoning beast rankings. Comparing them like this, the Toad Clan is indeed much stronger than the summoned beasts ranked before them. Hey! Jiraiya is gathering intelligence in Amigakure, right? We already know the Akatsuki organization's base is here, and we also know Jiraiya was killed by Pain. Didn't you see in the footage? Pain had already used a ninjutsu, all of Jiraiya's actions were under his surveillance. In other words, this is where Jiraiya was killed by Pain. Jiraiya himself guessed as much after seeing this scene. His face was full of bitterness. He hadn't expected that, following the third Hokage, the footage of him making the rankings would also be the scene of his death. The footage continues. Scroll Toad, Jiraiya, what are your plans for calling me out? Naruto's key was all ready. Jiraiya interrupts the Scroll Toad, I'm not asking you to open the seal on Naruto for maintenance. For certain reasons, you need to leave my body for a while. The Scroll Toad looks puzzled, then I'm leaving? What exactly are your plans? Jiraiya says with a heavy expression, I'm about to fight a rather formidable opponent. Scroll Toad, oh. Formidable enough that I have to run away first? Jiraiya, let me set the movement seal first. The scroll on the Scroll Toad's body opens automatically, and Jiraiya presses his palm onto it using chakra. Jiraiya, if anything happens to me, move. Into Naruto's body. The Scroll Toad is shocked, what nonsense are you talking? What's drawn on my belly is the key to the 8 trigram sealing style on Naruto. The 4th Hokage's seal is weakening. This key was left behind to prevent the need for a reseal later. How can such an important key be kept together with the vault? Seeing this, the ninja world is in an uproar. In the previous scene, the reason Naruto could save the village was entirely thanks to 4th Hokage's backup plan. To think he even left a key that can reseal the nine-tailed. Sigh. The 4th Hokage's fame is known even to a ninja from a small village like me. He's nothing like the 3rd, that strongest Hokage of all time who only has the title in name. In my view, that so-called strongest Hokage of all time might actually be the weakest of all the Hokage. Isn't there also a Tsunade with hemophobia? Tsunade might actually be the weakest. That's not right. The 3rd sacrificed his life just to seal Orochimaru's arms. Tsunade at least fought back and forth with Orochimaru, forcing him to flee. 280. The footage continues. Jiraiya, this key was meant for Naruto by Minato from the start. It has to be given to him eventually. Scroll Toad, then it's still too early. I was instigated by you before to use this key to slightly turn open Naruto's seal. Have you forgotten what happened then? The scene from that time immediately appears. Naruto, in his four-tails nine-tailed mode, heavily injured Jiraiya, leaving an almost fatal wound on his chest. The ninja world. So that's how it is. The wound Jiraiya showed in Kakashi's hospital room was left like that. Calculating it this way, it's understandable that Jiraiya was killed by Pain. Exactly. Pain can fight Naruto in his nine-tailed mode with nine tails erupting, while Jiraiya couldn't even handle four tails. Ha ha ha. No wonder even though Jiraiya is one of the three Sannin, they didn't even consider him when choosing a Hokage. It's because he's too weak. Don't say that. Don't forget, the fourth Hokage, Pain, and Naruto are all Jiraiya's disciples. The footage continues. Jiraiya, you're right. But since Minato left the formula for that key to me, it means that one day, he wants Naruto to complete that technique. I believe this is Minato's dying wish. The Scroll Toad is shocked again. Jiraiya, are you serious? Naruto can't even control the Nine-Tails chakra right now. Does he really need that technique? Also, if the seal is even slightly loosened, Naruto's chakra will be pushed back by the Nine-Tails chakra, and the Nine-Tails chakra will dominate him. If the seal is opened, Naruto might fully transform into the Nine-Tailed. Wouldn't that go against the fourth's dying wish? Inside the belly of the Shinigami, within the Reaper Death Seal. Uzumaki Kushina, what? To look down on our Naruto so much? Minato Namikaze, Little Pepper, don't be angry. The Scroll Toad is also worried about Naruto. Minato Namikaze thought to himself that Jiraiya was indeed his teacher. He hadn't said anything, yet Jiraiya could guess his thoughts. It was just that for Naruto to use that technique, it was indeed still too early. The footage continues. Jiraiya, Minato only used the Reaper Death Seal to seal the Nine-Tails Yin chakra. He deliberately split the Nine-Tails power into Yin and Yang, and sealed the Yang part within Naruto. This was to leave the Nine-Tails chakra for Naruto. The Scroll Toad still objects. Jiraiya, why would Minato deliberately seal the Nine-Tails chakra within his own son? Scroll Toad, how should I know? Maybe it was just forced by the circumstances at the time. If it wasn't that, then it was to leave power for his child, a form of fatherly love. Jiraiya shakes his head. Minato was my disciple. I know he would never do anything meaningless. He must have grasped some important truth. If he entrusted the Nine-Tails power to Naruto for the sake of that truth, then Naruto must. Seeing this, the ninja world is in shock. Just how terrifying is Minato Namikaze? How many backup plans did he leave? The Nine-Tails power was split into Yin and Yang, and the Yang part was sealed in Naruto. In other words, the Nine-Tails power inside Naruto is actually only half of it. My god! Then how terrifying is the full power of the Nine-Tailed? I couldn't figure it out before. If the fourth Hokage was so strong, why did he sacrifice himself to seal the Nine-Tailed? It's because the Nine-Tailed is much, much more terrifying than we imagined. What exactly is that truth the fourth wanted to entrust to Naruto? Jiraiya stares at the screen, dazed for a moment, then bursts into laughter. Ha ha ha. I am indeed Minato's teacher. My guess was correct. Minato sealing the Nine-Tails power in Naruto back then was indeed not a meaningless act. He really did it to entrust an important truth to Naruto. And that truth was already told to Naruto in the previous scene. The Nine-Tails chaos years ago was controlled by a masked man from the Akatsuki organization. The footage continues. Scroll Toad, you're overthinking it, aren't you? Jiraiya, I don't think I'm overthinking. I wasn't there at the time, so I don't know the specific details. But thinking carefully, the nine-tailed demon fox that once attacked Konoha was considered a naturally occurring disaster. In reality, it wasn't like that. I'm afraid that person used the summoning technique to call it forth. Inside Naruto's belly, within the iron bars of the 8 trigram ceiling style. The nine-tailed angrily strikes the iron bars. Damn it! You dare call me a demon fox? But speaking of what happened back then. The nine-tailed grinds its teeth in hatred. It truly was controlled by someone back then. That despicable fellow who dared to control me. If I ever see him again, I'll tear him to pieces. My power is only half right now, but that brat Naruto got the time screaming chicken as a reward. He just needs to give it a squeeze to restore my full power. Perhaps I should cooperate with Naruto, at least to deal with those despicable fellows first. Something the others didn't know. The nine-tailed had already begun to form the idea of cooperating with Naruto. Land of Rain, Akatsuki Organization Base. Deidara, Toby. Was the nine-tailed that attacked Konoha really summoned by you with the summoning technique? Are you really that strong? Toby, I'll explain that to you all later. Let's keep watching the footage. Deidara, that won't do. When I fought Sasuke, I blew myself up. You were there too, Toby. Since you're such a powerful expert, why didn't you step in to help me? Haiden, Toby's reaction when he learned he was killed by Deidara's self-destruction was wrong. It was like he knew he wouldn't die. Kakuzu, also. Toby analyzed it for us before. Members of our Akatsuki organization will surely die if they take off their clothes during battle. This point has been verified. It was so for Deidara. So for Sasori. Even the leader was the same. Sasori, that's right. The Toby in the future footage was indeed caught in Deidara's self-destruction, but he didn't take off his clothes. Toby looks at the Akatsuki members, completely speechless. What he said before about Akatsuki members dying if they take off their clothes was just nonsense he made up while playing the fool. He didn't expect these guys to take it seriously. What a bunch of idiots. However, he also needed to think carefully. Since he had been exposed, how should he continue to fool the Akatsuki members? Especially. Toby looks towards Uzumaki Nagato, who is sitting in the leader's seat. Judging from Uzumaki Nagato's future choices, continuing to fool him probably won't be so easy. Then, should he reclaim the Rinnegan first? Pure Land. Senju Hashirama, who on earth is that masked man? Uchiha Madara, Hashirama. Why are you so excited? Uchiha Madara thought to himself, that was undoubtedly Obito, but he couldn't possibly tell Senju Hashirama right now. Senju Hashirama, first, he dared to control the nine-tailed to attack Konoha. Then he used that pain to destroy Konoha in the future. Senju Hashirama, Madara. That's the Konoha you and I worked so hard to build together. Senju Hashirama, it was nearly destroyed once, and this time the entire village was leveled because of him. How can I not be angry? The screen continues. Scroll Toad, fool. Since ancient times, the nine-tailed has been a natural disaster that appears when human malice accumulates to a certain point. And someone who can summon the nine-tailed. Such a person doesn't exist in this world. Pure Land. Uchiha Madara, as expected of a toad. Truly a frog at the bottom of a well. Senju Hashirama, Madara. Are you going to reveal that secret? Uchiha Madara, Hashirama. There's no rush. When I make it onto the ranking list in a while, it will be exposed even if I don't want it to be. Senju Hashirama, that's true. The screen continues. Jiraiya shook his head. If it's summoning the nine-tailed, there is one person who can do it. Scroll Toad looked shocked. Who? Jiraiya, the founder of the Uchiha clan, Uchiha Madara. The Scroll Toad burst out laughing upon hearing this. Ha! Idiot! Uchiha Madara was around during the early days of Konoha's founding. How could he still be alive when the nine-tailed attacked Konoha over a decade ago? Jiraiya, that's true. It's common knowledge that Uchiha Madara was defeated by Shodai-sama at the Valley of the End. Pure Land. Uchiha Madara was somewhat shocked. He had originally thought that only Senju Hashirama knew the secret of him being able to summon the Nine-Tailed. He didn't expect Jiraiya to know about it, and furthermore, it was now being exposed to everyone through the scroll. By the time he made the ranking list for summoning the Nine-Tailed, people might not be as shocked. However, even Senju Hashirama wouldn't have expected it. Uchiha Madara, did not die back then. Look! The people in the Pure Land have already, regarding Uchiha Madara's ability to summon the Nine-Tailed, started a heated discussion. The vast majority of people were shocked by Uchiha Madara's immense power. The remaining minority were busy flattering Uchiha Madara for his great strength. The ninja world was no exception. Heavens! I always thought that someone who could summon the Nine-Tailed didn't exist. If it's Uchiha Madara, I don't doubt it at all. In the previous scene, the fourth Hokage said the Nine-Tailed attack on Konoha was controlled by someone, and just now Jiraiya said the Nine-Tailed was summoned. Could it be Uchiha Madara is still alive? That's absolutely impossible. As Jiraiya said, it's common knowledge that Uchiha Madara was defeated by Senju Hashirama at the Valley of the End. Uchiha Madara died back then, there's no way he's still alive. The screen continues. The scene shifts to the Valley of the End. A man wearing the Akatsuki organization's black robe with red clouds and a swirl mask, revealing a single Sharingan, is sitting atop the head of Uchiha Madara's statue. Suddenly, the entire ninja world was shocked. What? That's the Valley of the End. The masked man the fourth Hokage mentioned is actually sitting on the head of Uchiha Madara's statue. Look! His exposed eye is clearly a Sharingan. Could he be Uchiha Madara? Is Uchiha Madara really still alive? Heavens! Uchiha Madara is actually alive. And he's wearing Akatsuki clothes. It's confirmed he's a member of the Akatsuki organization. Kyumo go Cure. Fourth Raikage, able to summon the Nine-Tailed and sitting on the head of Uchiha Madara's statue, could he really be Uchiha Madara? Mabui, it's truly possible. If even Uchiha Madara is part of the Akatsuki organization, and Lord Senju Hashirama is dead, who else could be a match for Akatsuki? Fourth Raikage, if Uchiha Madara isn't dead, then Lord Senju Hashirama, who defeated him, might very well be alive too. A string of black lines appeared on Mabui's head. Raikage-sama, have you forgotten? When Orochimaru fought Konoha's strongest Hokage of all time, he used the Edo Tensei. And those who were reincarnated via Edo Tensei were Konoha's first and second Hokage. Fourth Raikage, meaning Senju Hashirama is definitely dead. Then, fourth Raikage's expression changed drastically at that thought. If the masked man in the scene really is Uchiha Madara, the entire ninja world will be in total chaos. Iwagu Cure. Anoki's eyes widened. Beside him, Kuratsuchi asked in confusion, Grandpa, is that masked man Uchiha Madara? Anoki shook his head, I can't be sure. I've seen Uchiha Madara, but that was a long time ago. Besides, this person is wearing a mask and is only on a screen, so I can't sense his chakra. Although Anoki said this, he was incredibly shocked in his heart. He even wondered if that masked man really was Uchiha Madara. Because not only could that masked man control the Nine-Tailed, but he also clearly possessed the Uchiha clan's Sharingan. Hidden Sand Village. Grandma Chiyo, besides Uchiha Madara, who else can control the Nine-Tailed? Grandma Chiyo's expression was extremely grave. She knew that regardless of whether the masked man was Uchiha Madara or not, the fact remained that he was a member of the Akatsuki organization and could control the Nine-Tailed. The balance of the 5 hidden villages in the ninja world was about to change. Right now, Sunagakure has lost its Kazekage, and no one has made it onto the ranking list to gain benefits yet, so their situation might be the most critical. Karego Cure. May Terumiya's beautiful eyes widened. Is that Uchiha Madara? Why is he still alive, and why? Is he wearing a mask? Jojuro, Mizukage sis, it hasn't been confirmed yet if that masked man is Uchiha Madara. May Terumi, but besides Uchiha Madara, who else has the power to control the Nine-Tailed? Chojuro couldn't explain that. Mizukage says, regardless of whether he's Uchiha Madara, since he's a member of the Akatsuki organization, we must prepare in advance. Mei Terumi nodded. Konoha. Konoha was the most shocked in the entire ninja world. Chunin exam arena. Sasuke stared blankly at the masked man sitting on the head of the Uchiha statue in the scene. Uchiha Madara is still alive? How is that possible? If Uchiha Madara were still alive, how could he just stand by and watch the guy Itachi massacre the Uchiha clan? The rest of the 12 genin were equally bewildered. Like Senju Hashirama, Uchiha Madara was a legendary figure, regardless of whether he was good or bad. How could they not be shocked that a legendary figure was still alive? Hiruzen Sarutobi's eyes were nearly popping out. How can this be? It's absolutely impossible. Uchiha Madara cannot be alive. If Uchiha Madara were alive and wanted to destroy Konoha, there's no way Konoha would still exist. But if that masked man isn't Uchiha Madara, then who is he? As for the Uchiha clan, only Uchiha Sasuke and the missing Uchiha Itachi are left. Although Hiruzen Sarutobi was extremely reluctant to believe it, in his heart, he was starting to. That masked man is Uchiha Madara. Root base. Danzo stared in shock with his newly acquired Rinnegan. Uchiha Madara? How could he possibly still be alive? If he's really alive, why the hell would I still be thinking about becoming Hokage? He will definitely be an enemy of Konoha, and without the first Hokage, who in all of Konoha could be a match for Uchiha Madara? Before the scroll appeared, although I knew of the Akatsuki organization's existence, I didn't take them very seriously. Now, even Uchiha Madara might be alive, and he's a member of Akatsuki. It's not just me, I'm afraid no one will dare to underestimate the Akatsuki organization now. Land of Rain, Akatsuki organization base. Except for Obito and Uzumaki Nagato, everyone else looked at Obito in shock. Deidara almost roared, "Toby, you bastard! You're actually Uchiha Madara?" Haiden, heavens! Toby, you're actually Uchiha Madara? To think Uchiha Madara was such a complete idiot. Cold sweat kept breaking out on Kakuzu's face. He had bragged about fighting hundreds of rounds against Senju Hashirama. If Toby is Uchiha Madara, wouldn't his lie be exposed? Sasori, hidden inside his puppet, had nothing but shock on his face. The choice to join the group back then was indeed the right one. I never expected to be in the same organization as the legendary Uchiha Madara. Though he never imagined that Uchiha Madara would be such a blockhead. Kisame Hashigaki shouted excitedly, "I thought you got in through the back door, Toby. I never expected you to be the legendary Uchiha Madara. Now our Akatsuki organization is truly invincible in the ninja world." Uchiha Itachi stared intently at Toby. When facing Toby, he actually felt an inexplicable sense of familiarity. So Toby was a member of the Uchiha clan. But he had never considered that Toby was Uchiha Madara. Even now, Uchiha Itachi absolutely did not believe that the Toby before him was Uchiha Madara. But if the Toby before him wasn't Uchiha Madara, then who exactly was he? In the Uchiha clan, besides himself and Sasuke, no one else should be alive. Konan was stunned and said nothing. Uzumaki Nagato also remained silent. The reason he chose to cooperate with Obito was because he had been fooled by Obito using the identity of Uchiha Madara. Therefore, Uzumaki Nagato wasn't particularly shocked. Instead, Uzumaki Nagato now began to doubt whether this masked man before him was truly the legendary Uchiha Madara. "Toby, that's right. I am Uchiha Madara. So everyone, there's no need to doubt." Using fire release ninjutsu. Konan said with some surprise, "Toad flat shadow control jutsu?" Jiraiya wasn't shocked at all after being discovered. "I originally intended to lure out pain, but I didn't expect you to take the bait. Your techniques have become sharper, and you've grown into quite a fine woman." Konan. "I thought you were dead, but you've turned into these light pieces of paper. Can you tell me who pain really is?" Konan, "It has nothing to do with Jiraiya-sensei. Then, Conan and Jiraiya engaged in battle. Soon, Conan was subdued by Jiraiya. Jiraiya, you, who loved origami, were the gentlest among those children. What about the other two? What happened to Nagato and Yahiko? The rumors of their deaths were also fake, right? As I thought, which one of them is Pain? In the ninja world, a large group of people were anxious for Jiraiya. I didn't expect this woman named Conan to also be Jiraiya's student. Jiraiya, there are actually 6 Pains. Jiraiya, the Pains are all corpses. It's useless even if you want to know who Pain is. And all 6 Pains are corpses controlled by your student, Uzumaki Nagato. Finding Pain is useless. To defeat Uzumaki Nagato, you need to find his real body. Land of Rain, Akatsuki Organization Base. Conan and Uzumaki Nagato watched the footage with very complicated emotions. Jiraiya was their teacher. If they weren't mistaken, in the upcoming footage, Jiraiya would be killed by the Pains controlled by Uzumaki Nagato. The footage continued. Flashback, over a decade ago. Orochimaru and Jiraiya were on a mission in Amigakure. Orochimaru, should we kill them? I've seen many war orphans. Their ends are always miserable. It might actually be better for these children if we just kill them here. Konoha, Chunin Exam Arena. Orochimaru had a look of sudden realization. So it was those kids from back then. Jiraiya, you regret it now, don't you? If you had listened to me and killed them back then, Konoha wouldn't be destroyed in the future, and you wouldn't be killed by your own students. But those children are truly impressive, to have founded the Akatsuki organization with such terrifying power. Speaking of which, I also once joined Akatsuki. Land of Rain, Akatsuki Organization Base. Deidara, leader, I never thought you were almost killed by Orochimaru back then. Please let me go kill him. Sasori, count me in when it's time to kill Orochimaru. Uzumaki Nagato, because of the scroll, everything needs to be reconsidered now. There are still footage of the top 10 rankings later, perhaps we can gain more information. So let's finish watching all the footage first before deciding how to act. Outside Konoha village. Jiraiya let out a sigh. The footage continued. Animal path Pain suddenly appeared, that is the answer we arrived at on our own. Jiraiya sensei. After a brief dialogue, Jiraiya and Pain began to fight. Animal path Pain, sensei, you are still just a mere mortal, while I, after experiencing infinite pain, have surpassed mortality and continued to grow. Jiraiya, what did you say? Animal path Pain, that's right. From a mortal, I became a god. Once one becomes a god, everything one says and thinks will be considered from a god's perspective. Sensei, you are still just a mortal, it's only natural that you don't understand my words. Ninja world. What is this person saying? This is way too chunibu. If I didn't hear wrong, Uzumaki Nagato just said he's a god, right? That's hilarious. People in Akatsuki seem quite chunibu. Remember Deidara who shouted about art being an explosion? I think it's understandable for Pain to say such things. In the previous footage, didn't he also say he wanted the whole world to feel pain? Reaper Death Seal, inside the Shinigami's stomach. Uzumaki Kushina, what a shameless fellow. How dare he call himself a god? Minato Namikaze, why? Did in the past. To make the world grow, think, and move forward, it needs the assistance of a god, because the world is still just a child. Ninja world. Crazy. It's confirmed. Uzumaki Nagato has gone insane. To actually think that could bring peace. Are you joking? Just as Jiraiya said, what Uzumaki Nagato is doing will only make the war more intense, it won't stop the war at all. We absolutely cannot let Uzumaki Nagato and his organization succeed. We must do everything to stop them from collecting the tailed beasts, or the world is truly finished. Land of Rain, Akatsuki Organization Base. Uzumaki Nagato fell into deep thought. After seeing the previous scene and the choices his future self made in it, he reflected in his heart whether his rhetoric in this current scene was right or wrong. The footage continued. Jiraiya, to make the world grow, you teach it pain? Is that your mission? Animal path pain, that's right. Because I am a god who believes in pacifism. Jiraiya, you've become quite the joker, Nagato. Animal path pain, a joker? This is no joke. My ideal. Before he could finish, the animal path pain broke free, his figure appeared to the side, and he summoned a new summoned beast. Animal path pain, Jiraiya-sensei, you are just a tiny existence that will never grow. Hearing this, Jiraiya laughed disdainfully and used the summoning jutsu. The giant Gamaken appeared beneath Jiraiya's feet. Ken. I'll need your help next. I need to enter Sage Mode, Jiraiya said solemnly. Alright, Jiraiya. I'll do my best to hold him off. The two stopped wasting words and began their battle. Outside Konoha village. Jiraiya was completely distraught. When he saw the previous scene of Uzumaki Nagato controlling pain to destroy Konoha, he still couldn't quite understand it. He couldn't understand why his own disciple would do something so insane. Now, after hearing Uzumaki Nagato's words in the footage, he felt that no matter how insane Uzumaki Nagato's actions were, they could at least be understood. Thinking of this, Jiraiya's face was filled with anger. Understanding did not mean forgiveness. As his disciple, Uzumaki Nagato destroyed Konoha in the future. Then, let him be the one to bring it to an end. If he couldn't persuade Uzumaki Nagato to turn back, then he would kill him. He had lost to Pain before because he didn't know Pain's abilities. It was different now, he already knew the abilities of every Pain. Although Uzumaki Nagato had also received rewards and increased his strength. But once this footage ended, he would receive the time screaming chicken reward. If he fought Uzumaki Nagato again, it was anyone's guess who would emerge victorious. The footage continued. Jiraiya had already fought the animal path Pain for several rounds, and he had entered Sage Mode. His eyes had turned into Sage Eyes, and on his left and right shoulders stood two toads. These two toads were naturally the great sages Fukasaku and Shima from Mount Miyaboko. Little Jiraiya, I just finished cooking lunch for father, Shima said with her head tilted. Mother! Little Jiraiya must have a reason for summoning us at a time like this, Fukasaku said. Yeah, Jiraiya quickly explained. By this time, he had already reached the animal path Pain. For 10 minutes, both sides launched their strongest attacks. In the end, neither side gained much of an advantage. At this moment, the animal path Pain formed hand seals and shouted lowly, summoning jutsu. Poof! Poof! Two clouds of white smoke flashed, and the human path and Preta path Pains appeared beside him. Now, things are getting serious. Jiraiya formed hand seals and, with the cooperation of the two toad sages, used a combination senjutsu. Sage Art, Gomen. An ocean of flames appeared, but it was instantly absorbed by the Preta path Pain. After a quick analysis, Jiraiya decided to test them. Ultra Big Ball. Jiraiya hadn't fallen there and had brought the intel back to Konoha, maybe the future Konoha wouldn't have been destroyed. Pure Land. Senju Hashirama, Madara. What do you think of Jiraiya's strength? Uchiha Madara, not bad. At least he's much stronger than your granddaughter, little Tsunade. Uzumaki Nido, no matter how lacking little Tsunade may be, she is still the granddaughter of Hashirama and me. Meanwhile, you're just a single dog with nothing to your name. Uchiha Izuna, nonsense, older brother still has me. Senju Tobarama, indeed. He does have you, but unfortunately, you're dead. Land of Rain, Akatsuki Organization Base. Konen, Nagato, Jiraiya truly lived up to being our teacher. Uzumaki Nagato nodded. I have to admit, Sensei was truly strong. Deidara, our leader, is even more impressive. Not only did he kill Jiraiya, one of the Sannin, but he also destroyed Konoha single-handedly. As expected of our leader. Obito looked at Uzumaki Nagato with dissatisfaction through his mask. Uzumaki Nagato was indeed very strong. Unfortunately, he had been completely fooled and led astray by Obito. And what made Obito angry was that Uzumaki Nagato would actually make that kind of choice in the future. The footage continued. As the battle continued, all 6 of the paths of pain controlled by Nagato appeared. Jiraiya exerted all his strength to defeat the animal path, but he himself was also heavily injured. Jiraiya refused Fukusaku's suggestion to escape because he had already realized that the 6 paths of pain before him were not Uzumaki Nagato's real body. Just as Jiraiya was about to tell this information to Fukusaku and have him take it back to Konoha, smack! A path of pain suddenly emerged from underwater. Jiraiya couldn't dodge in time, and his throat was crushed. And that wasn't all. The remaining paths of pain descended from the sky, their black rods piercing into Jiraiya's body without hesitation. Jiraiya's consciousness began to blur, and his eyes began to lose focus. Konoha, Chunin Exam Arena. Naruto gritted his teeth in anger. Bastard. To do that to pervy sage? The others were also staring blankly at the screen. They had known from the previous scene that Jiraiya would be killed by pain. But when they saw the scene with their own eyes, they couldn't help but feel a sense of shock. Outside Konoha village, Jiraiya lowered his head, unable to bear watching the scene of his own death. I see. Is that how I was killed? Land of Rain, Akatsuki Organization Base. Konan and Uzumaki Nagato also lowered their heads. So, Jiraiya-sensei was killed by them in that manner. A hotel near a certain casino. Tsunade's eyes were filled with sadness. Even though it's just a scene from the future, I feel an inexplicable sadness in my heart. Shizun, Lady Tsunade, now that we know everything, Lord Jiraiya won't need to go to Amagakure to investigate, so Lord Jiraiya won't die. Tsunade shook her head. Shizun, you don't understand that guy Jiraiya. Since Uzumaki Nagato is his student, now that he knows about Nagato's situation, he definitely won't just sit idly by. Shizun, then should we go help him? Tsunade fell into silence. Should she go help Jiraiya? If Jiraiya came to ask for her help, perhaps she would. The footage continued. It was no longer the place where Jiraiya and Pain were fighting, but a different scene. Blue sky and white clouds, green mountains and lush grass, under a large tree. A young Jiraiya was writing with a brush. How you die isn't important, it's how you live that matters. This is the world where ninja survive. A person's value is not determined by how they survive, but by the actions they took before then. Having written to this point, Jiraiya looked up. He had changed from a youth into a middle-aged man, his eyes full of melancholy. My life has been a series of failures. Pursuing Tsunade, always being, was not wrong. So, for now, stay firm in your choice. Future peace depends on your guidance. Pure Land. Senju Hashirama, Madara. Did you hear that? Even the great Toad Sage said Naruto is the child of destiny. Do you still think I was wrong to say Naruto is the future hope of Konoha? Senju Tobarama, brother. Is the great Toad Sage the legendary one who guided the Six Paths Sage? Senju Hashirama, yes. Ototo. Uchiha Madara, I'm very curious, what exactly is this so-called prophecy? And what does the so-called child of destiny mean? The entire Pure Land was also very curious. The Six Paths Sage, however, smiled. The Great Toad Sage already predicted long ago that Ashura was the child of destiny. That point is naturally not wrong. Back then, Indra and Ashura fought each other precisely because the Great Toad Sage predicted that Ashura was the child of prophecy. Furthermore, he designated Ashura as the successor of Ninshu, which aroused Indra's dissatisfaction. Land of Rain, Akatsuki Organization Base. Uzumaki Nagato and Konan both looked guilty. Jiraiya-sensei, we are sorry. The footage continued. Flashback scene. Upon learning that the tale of the utterly gutsy shinobi was entirely adapted from Jiraiya's various legends, Minato Namikaze looked excited. Jiraiya-sensei, the protagonist of this book, with his will to never give up until the very last moment, is truly too cool. I've decided. If I have a child in the future, I'll name him after the protagonist of this book. Jiraiya, who was already on the verge of death, thought of Naruto. His entire being erupted with the power of will. Using every last bit of his strength, he carved the intel onto Fukusaku's back. Pain, who had already begun to leave, immediately rushed back after sensing that Jiraiya was still alive. The rot Jiraiya was unshattered, and he slowly sank into the sea. In the deep sea, the corners of Jiraiya's mouth curled up. Now that's more like an. Didn't plan to make a move now. Because he knew very well. Don't look at Naruto as just a little kid. With Naruto's current reputation, touching him would be like poking a hornet's nest. Konoha's hidden strength, he knew it very well. The third Hiruzen Sarutobi also very much wanted the time-screaming chicken. He felt that a treasure like this could only fulfill its true purpose if placed in his hands. But, given Naruto's current reputation, he wouldn't dare make a move against Naruto. Unless he doesn't want to continue being Hokage. He decided to find an opportunity later to ask Naruto for it privately. Naruto's impression of him wasn't bad, as long as he used enough sweet talk. Naruto would likely give the time-screaming chicken to him. Root base. Danzo suppressed his urge to act immediately and snatched the time-screaming chicken. Endure. Must endure. Right now, there is still a glimmer of possibility for me to become Hokage. But if I make a move against Naruto, and I still want to be Hokage, I would truly have to kill everyone in Konoha. However, a treasure like the time-screaming chicken. It must be mine, Danzo's. The time-screaming chicken is practically tailor-made for my Rinnegan reward. Why is pain in the screen so strong? Isn't it because he has the Rinnegan? Now I have it too, but there is a usage limit. If I obtain the time-screaming chicken, this restriction will no longer exist. Outside Konoha village. After Jiraiya obtained the time-screaming chicken, he thought about transforming into his middle-aged appearance, then gave it a squeeze. After the screaming chicken let out a scream. Jiraiya was pleasantly surprised to find that he had truly transformed into the appearance he wanted. He lifted his clothes and discovered that the scars he had acquired over time had all vanished. The time-screaming chicken is truly a good thing, especially for picking up girls. It must be said, the time-screaming chicken is absolutely a divine tool. Sound that suddenly appeared in his mind, feeling somewhat surprised. Golden roll? I'm very curious, if Lord Madara makes the list, will it show his battle with the first Hokage at the Valley of the End? Also, will the Six-Path Sage, who is related to the tailed beasts, make the list? What is the next list? And who will be number 1? Bai Yan, who instantly understood everything, asked curiously in his heart. Ding, the Six-Path Sage does not count as a summoner. Because you directly occupy the top 10 of a list, you possess certain privileges. The Golden Roll can, based on your suggestion, broadcast the battle at the Valley of the End. The next list is the 5 Kage Combat Power list, and the number 1 is Uzumaki Naruto. Would you like to merge the rewards? Listening to the system's notification sound again, Bai Yan nodded slightly. This list is getting more and more interesting. You know, in the entire ninja world, no one has ever seen the first Hokage and Uchiha Madara go all out. Bai Yan was very much looking forward to the reactions of these people after seeing that godlike battle scene. Not to mention the combat performance of Naruto in his prime, it would probably scare quite a few people. Furthermore, after Naruto became Hokage, he had a son, Boruto. If Boruto and Hinata also appeared on screen, that would probably drop a lot of people's jaws again. Ding, thank you for your consent. Reward merge successful. Congratulations on obtaining the multiverse chat group. After the chat group is bound, everyone in the ninja world will automatically join by default. Gentle reminder, the 10 screens of you and your summoned beasts will also be merged into one. Holy crap! What a surprise! It's exactly what I wanted. Even with Bai Yan's temperament, he couldn't help but be stunned. In an instant, scenes involuntarily appeared in his mind, the first, second, fourth, Kushina, and others fiercely confronting the third and Danzo, Kaguya fiercely confronting her unfilial son, the Six-Path Sage, Jiraiya confronting his unfilial student, Nagato, and so on. Besides that, this is the multiverse chat group. Does this mean that in the future, after meeting certain conditions, he might be able to invite other worlds to join? Does it mean he could let the myriad worlds come and watch Naruto? You know, Naruto is Bai Yan's absolute favorite work, bar none. Every character in it is fleshed out, full of passion, emotion, and a spiritual core. Before transmigrating, when watching other works, whenever he saw the actions of certain characters, Bai Yan would always fantasize about making those people watch Naruto properly. Let's not think too much for now. Coming back to his senses, Bai Yan discovered that the list had already changed. At this moment, the golden roll shone brightly. The first to 10th places appeared simultaneously, but were blurry. What the hell? The top 10 appearing all at once? Just as all intelligent life in the entire ninja world was confused, a strange change occurred again. Buzz buzz buzz. Summoned Beast List 2nd place, Nine-Tailed. One of the summoners, Uchiha Madara, reward, 1 revival coin. Can designate one deceased person to be revived, whoa. The entire ninja world was instantly in an uproar. What on earth is going on? Not only did it suddenly display the top 10, but it hasn't even shown them all yet, so why did it announce 2nd place directly? What kind of nonsense is this? Holy crap! It's confirmed, Uchiha Madara really can summon the Nine-Tailed. The most critical thing is that the summoner is shown as one of. Who else is there? My god! The Nine-Tailed is only 2nd place, then what kind of divine beast is first? At this moment, in the entire ninja world, those who knew about the 10 tails felt solemn, and those who didn't know about the 10 tails felt incredulous. In short, no one was calm inside. Especially, the members of the Akatsuki organization at this moment. Uzumaki. Nagato stared intently at Obito through pain. The revival coin, no matter what method it took, he was determined to get it. Madara. I didn't expect this. You can actually control a monster like the Nine-Tailed, Deidara was full of astonishment. Madara. How do you plan to use the revival coin? Kisame Hashigaki looked curious. Let's look at the list first. Aren't you curious about the first place? Obito was panicking inside, but forced himself to stay calm and changed the subject. Damn it, he was about to be exposed. Not to mention anything else, this was really fucking embarrassing. By the way, Kakuzu. You could fight the first Hokage for 800 rounds, and since Madara lost to the first, doesn't that mean you can beat Madara up? At this moment, Haiden suddenly thought of something, slapped his head, and said, looking at it this way, the so-called god of shinobi isn't anything special. Madara probably just relied on being able to control the Nine-Tailed, otherwise, he'd be just so-so. Ahem, look at the list first, look at the list first. Kakuzu glanced at Obito, who he believed to be Madara, and was panicking inside. At the same time, the golden roll burst into light again. A new scene appeared. Whether in the real world or the Pure Land, everyone looked up at the translucent screen in front of the scroll. Under the anticipation of all, the scene began. Under the moon, after Uchiha Madara and Senju Hashirama exchanged a blow, they both fell backward. Uchiha Madara, summoning technique. The Nine-Tailed was summoned. Ninja world. He really summoned the Nine-Tailed. Truly worthy of being the legendary god of shinobi. Is this the strength of Uchiha Madara? Isn't it a bit too strong? I didn't expect even the Nine-Tailed could be summoned, and it's only ranked 2nd? Then who on earth is first? So this is Uchiha Madara, he looks different from the masked man who appeared before. So exciting! This is the legendary battle. Finished speaking, he began to increase the power of his chakra. Senju Hashirama, if that's the case, then there's no other way. Sage art. Wood release. True several thousand hands. Senju Hashirama, I'm coming, Madara. Uchiha Madara, come on. Hashirama. Then the two engaged in an incredibly intense battle. The terrifying power of the battle caused the surrounding environment to change, and this is how the later Valley of the End was formed. In the end, both were almost exhausted. Finally, Senju Hashirama had the slight upper hand and pierced Uchiha Madara with his sword. Uchiha Madara closed his eyes and slowly fell. The screen ended. For a moment, the entire ninja world was in an uproar. My god! Is this really a battle between ninjas? This level of combat has clearly exceeded my understanding. As expected of the two men known as the god of shinobi, their strength is simply not something we can compare to. That is the true battle between ninjas. The battles of us who call ourselves ninjas, compared to the footage, are simply as funny as playing house. Lord Senju Hashirama, Lord Uchiha Madara, the two are the well-deserved god of shinobi. Lord Senju Hashirama is the true strongest Hokage of all time. That guy named Hiruzen Sarutobi can get lost. Judging by the screen, Uchiha Madara is already dead? Then who exactly is that masked man? That's right. Why would that masked man impersonate Uchiha Madara? And he possesses the Sharingan, so who exactly is he from the Uchiha clan? Almost all ninjas understood one thing after watching the footage. The combat power of Senju Hashirama and Uchiha Madara, compared to these ninjas. It was simply like heaven and earth. Especially the ninjas and villagers of Konoha. They all knew they had been deceived. Their dear third Hokage, let alone being the strongest Hokage of all time. He wasn't even fit to carry the shoes of the true strongest Hokage of all time. Of course. There were also some ninjas who were worried about another matter. Kyuumo go Cure. Fourth Raikage, I didn't expect Uchiha Madara's strength to be so powerful. And now that he has obtained the revival coin from the ranking reward, he will be resurrected soon. The ninja world might be in chaos. Mabui, if Uchiha Madara is already dead, then, I don't know who that masked man is. Fourth Raikage, anyway, let's make all possible preparations first. Iwagu Cure. Kuratsuchi, Grandpa, the strength of Senju Hashirama and Uchiha Madara is too strong. Anoki, that's right, that is the true strength of Senju Hashirama. The Senju Hashirama summoned by Orochimaru via Edo Tensei to fight the third Hokage previously could not unleash his true strength. Kuratsuchi, Grandpa, if Uchiha Madara resurrects himself, what should we do? Sunigekure. Chio, so nostalgic. This is that era from back then. Honestly speaking, the strength of current ninjas is really not on the same level compared to Senju Hashirama and Uchiha Madara. Things are about to go very wrong. Once Uchiha Madara receives his reward, he will definitely choose to resurrect himself. Kerego Cure. Mei Terumi, I didn't expect the first Hokage's strength to be this formidable. I wonder how our first Mizukage compares. Chojuro, Mizukage-sama, Uchiha Madara will be able to resurrect soon. I think we should make preparations early. Konoha. Hiruzen Sarutobi and Danzo Shimura were both panicking like crazy. The two of them had orchestrated the clan massacre of the Uchiha clan, and now Uchiha Madara was about to be resurrected. Once Uchiha Madara learned of this, he would definitely come to settle the score with them. The entire Konoha might even be in danger. At this moment, neither of them cared much about the position of Hokage anymore. After all, they might lose their lives soon, so what did it matter if they could be Hokage, or whether they could continue to be Hokage? Besides, who exactly was this masked man in front of? Summoner, Bai Yan. Who is Bai Yan? The 10th place is actually a tailed beast, so the first. Why is the 10th place the 7 tails Komi-ai? Isn't the strength of a tailed beast judged by its tails? The entire ninja world was even more confused. However, the Golden Roll had no intention of stopping the footage. Summoning Beast Rankings 9th place, 6 Tails Seiken Master, Bai Yan. Summoning Beast Rankings 8th place, 3 Tails Isabu Master, Bai Yan. Summoning Beast Rankings 7th place, 5 Tails Kokuo Master, Bai Yan. Summoning Beast Rankings 6th place, 2 Tails Matatabi Master, Bai Yan. Summoning Beast Rankings 5th place, 4 Tails Son Goku Master, Bai Yan. Summoning Beast Rankings 4th place, 1 Tails Shikaku Master, Bai Yan. Summoning Beast Rankings 3rd place, 8 Tails Gyuki Master, Bai Yan. Summoning Beast Rankings 2nd place, 9-tailed Kurama Master, Bai Yan. What is going on? 2nd to 9th are actually all tailed beasts? And the summoner, no, the master is the same person? Who is this person named Bai Yan? Why is he so special? Everyone else is shown as a summoner, but his shows as master? Why didn't his reward show? And no footage yet? What about first place? Who would that be? The entire ninja world was in an uproar. However, everyone was waiting for the first place to appear before taking action. Summoning Beast Rankings: First place, Eastern Azure Dragon, Southern Vermilion Bird, Northern Black Tortoise, Western White Tiger. Master, Bai Yan, the first and second places are actually not me? The Six Paths Sage had an ugly expression. Just then, the list revealed new information. The above top 10 rewards are merged into a chat group, and the footage is also merged into one. Seeing this, everyone instantly understood what was going on with the golden rules change. No one was in a rush anymore. After all, the upcoming footage would expose everything. Under the anticipation of the masses, footage begins. In a forest.